Good afternoon, Saints. Lisa Boyce here, Watchwoman 65. I have some news about, let me see, a Russian plane worth $7 million was shot down by Turkish-backed forces as military offensive launched. Now, remember I had spoke before about Isaiah 17:1. This is pretty significant. It says a Russian reconnaissance plane has been shot down above the war-torn Syrian province. I can't pronounce this province name. I'm not even going to try. I'll mess it up. As a Turkish-backed operation against forces loyal to President Bashar al-Assad gets underway. This came out today. Thanks, Jay, for giving me this. I appreciate it. Initial report suggests the $7 million aircraft was bought down by Syria's Turkish-backed National Army. There's also reports the revolutionary faction had destroyed 2 Syrian government tanks during the violent clashes. So this could be the quiet before the storm. The storm is coming. This is interesting. The latest developments bring NATO member Turkey and Russia-backed Syria close to the brink of direct confrontation, a day after President Erdogan warned the launch of a new military operation was imminent. So this is pretty big. Russian warplanes have continued to bombard rebel-held towns in northwest Syria again as Turkish artillery supported insurgent attacks elsewhere across the region. In Geneva, the United Nations refugee chief called for a halt, a stop to the fighting, to allow hundreds of thousands of trapped civilians to move to places of safety. This thing is about to explode. Now, the question remains, does this happen before the rapture or after the rapture? That's the question. Russia and Turkey backed opposing sides in the 9-year conflict. The Kremlin, which has supported al-Assad's push with airstrikes against the rebel militia, said a clash between Turkish and Syrian forces would be a worst-case scenario, and Russia would work to prevent the situation from worsening. Don't forget, Russia plays a part in Ezekiel 38:39. Syrian troops supported by Russian warplanes and special forces have been battling since December to eradicate the last rebel bastions in the Proverb and Aleppo provinces in what could be one of the final chapters of the bloody civil war. But as Turkish troops took up strategic positions across the region of Idlib, Mr. Erdogan said he would not leave the region to the devices of the Assad regime. Remember what he did, when was it? Was it a couple of years ago when he gassed his own people in this province? Assad is another demon, basically. The Turkish leader told the military police Turkey has completed preparations for the implementation of its plan on, I can't pronounce the name, I'm going to say it again. It's going to be Idlib is a province in Syria. It says, just like we did with the previous operations. He said, frankly, this is just a matter of time. I'm going to leave the article here. It says that Syrian opposition forces supported by Turkey have launched large-scale attacks on Syrian government troops last week, particularly on the Narab settlement. There's some kind of settlements over there, but this is coming to a head real quick. It's not a day that goes by that something doesn't happen. It was quiet for a minute now. I get that. It says the Russian-backed Syrian government troops thwarted the attacks, and Moscow said the militants suffered substantial losses. Now, if you think that Russia is going to sit back while one of his planes, $7 million planes, got shot down by Turkish-backed forces, that's not going to happen. Putin is going to do something. But I wanted to give you this. I'm getting a little bit of bits and pieces of news coming in, but I'm going to go through it before I report it. But in the meantime, I'll leave the link to this in the description box, and if anything else comes up, I will let you know. In the meantime, have a nice afternoon.